like to call this a regular select board meeting to order, please. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, general law 30A and 20, and the Governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitation on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting of the Dalton Select Board will be conducted via remote participation. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to watch an open session portion of the meeting may do so by viewing on Dalton Community Cable TV, channel 1301, or via Zoom link that is on the agenda. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public adequately address the open session portion of the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite our best efforts, we'll post on the town's website an audio or video recording, transcript, or any other comprehensive records of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. All right, if anybody is able to stand up, Mr. Boyle, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, for liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, Brittany, roll call, please.
Yep. Unmute. Okay, we have John Boyle.
Here.
Mark Strout.
Here.
Bob Bishop.
Here.
No Danesco.
He's excused.
Okay, and we have our interim town manager, Sandra Albano.
Here.
Did I miss anything? And Joe Diver is not. Oh, Joe Diver is there. I say.
There.
Okay.
Okay. Next, we have the minutes of August 5th. I will entertain a motion to accept the minutes of August 5th as written.
And Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the minutes of August 5th,
Am I in your
2020
way?
as submitted.
Can I
Okay,
turn
is there a
the
second?
computer a little bit more towards you?
Second.
Okay. Is there any other further discussions or corrections?
Is that good?
Okay, roll call vote. John?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Bob, yes. Okay, next we have minutes of August 17th, 2020.
Mr. Chairman, I move to accept the minutes of August 17, 2020.
Second.
Okay. A motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Okay. Roll call vote. John?
Yes.
Mark? Mark? Oh, I lost Mark.
Yes, I'm having some.
Joe?
Yes.
Mark, raise your hand. Yes.
He's frozen.
No.
You got me now, Bob?
Yeah, I got you now.
Yeah, I'm having some internet issues here.
Okay, you all set with the minutes?
Yes.
Okay. And I say yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right, this is a time for the public to address the board on any item listed on the meeting agenda or any issue or matter of the town. If you intend on addressing the board at this time, we ask you to do the following. Excuse me. Use the Zoom link or dial 684-611 extension 28. Please identify yourself by name, address, or the company/institution you represent. Excuse me. The public address to the board segment will last no longer than 30 minutes. Please make your comments concise and try not to repeat statements made by others. Please address your comments to the board chair. Discussion on any issue may not take place at this time. The chair or the designee may answer questions on procedural matters. Please be cordial and respectful of others. If anyone wishes to be recognized when the board discusses an agenda item, please make the request at this time. The board chair may grant us a request, address comments to the board chair, and be concise. Is there anyone out there that would like to speak to any items on the agenda?
Mr. Bishop?
Yes, Dan.
Dan Filio, I'd like to be available for any questions, possibly on question 10, and also the discussion on item 11.
Perfect.
Bob?
Yes, Richard.
Richard Hall, 164 Green Ridge.
Uh-huh.
Can I be recognised item 8 and also available for number 10 as well? Please.
Make a note.
Thank you.
What'd you say, Richard, 10 and 8?
10 and 8.
Okay. Okay. Okay, first on the agenda, we have ZBA permit, 215 Main Street. This is just a memorandum from the, a petition, Rebecca Slick. And it just wants to know if we have any concerns about the sign that they want to place at 251 Main Street. I will entertain a motion that we have not an opinion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the board does not have an opinion on this application.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All right, any other discussion on this? Okay, roll call vote. John?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Mark? He's muted. Mark, unmute yourself.
Yes.
Okay. All right. In lieu of, I asked Dan to come to the meeting tonight, so I want to move up to number 10 and 11 next, because I asked Dan, I told him I wouldn't keep him up all night because he's got a lot going on here. And for the record, I would like to recognize Dan and all his accomplishments that he's done for the town. Oh my God, every time I talk to him, it's like, how can you do all this stuff? Okay, so if everybody's comfortable with that, I will start with grant acceptance on the Shared Street grant from Mass DOT. Joe, would you read that, please?
Yeah, I got the right one here. Hold on for 1 sec. Hold on, Bob. Okay, sorry, I had the wrong one. Okay. Mr. Chair, you want me to read the whole grant here, Bob? The whole resolution?
Front page here, Joe, that's all.
The front page?
Just a heading up there. All
right, Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the grant for the town of Dalton, which has been granted $70,441.80 by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Department of Transportation for the Shared Streets program.
Second.
Okay, a motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Is there any questions for Dan?
Great work, and congratulations to the whole team behind you, Dan.
Yeah, I mean,
thank you for your leadership.
Outstanding work.
Thank you.
This is all for the street, flashing lights, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, a motion's been made and seconded. Roll call vote. John?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Bob, yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have a grant acceptance for the Green Communities Division. Joe, would you read that, please?
And Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the grant from the Department of Energy Resources, Green Communities Division, whereas the town of Dalton has received a grant for the town of Dalton's Green Communities competitive application of $30,030.
Second.
Okay, and this for the record is for $17,490 for the senior center LED lighting, $8,753 for the DPW garage LED lighting, $1,398 for the cemetery office LED lighting, and $2,389 for the town of Dalton administrative assistance. And I believe, I'm not sure, but I really appreciate whoever did this. I'm sure Becky and the Green Committee work to get this, so. Okay, is there any discussion or comments on this? Okay, roll call vote, Joe,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Mark.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Next, Dan stopped by, I think it was Monday or last week sometime, and he talked to Sandy and I on an update on a rotary coming at the intersection of South Street and Main Streets. And Joe, can you put, if Sandy gives you the rights, can you put up the picture so everyone can see it? And Dan, would you comment on that, please?
Yes, Sandy and Becky can give me access to share my screen. Let me host.
Now what? Share?
Yeah.
You want to transition the host access over to myself so I can share my screen? Sorry.
Sure, if I could figure out how to do that, I would.
Yeah.
Anybody got any help?
Go back. Oh. No, you don't want to do that.
Yeah, if you open up the participants on the Zoom.
Yeah, your screen got smaller. So.
And then, what do I do then? I have that open, and then I
Okay.
go to you,
His name.
Yep.
and more.
Mm-hmm. You should be able to transition me to host.
I'm trying.
That's okay. Take your time.
Yes.
Make host.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Do you want? Yes, I do. I should unmute myself. You all set?
Yes, I think I am good here. All right, Bob, you should be able to see my screen now.
Yes, we can. Okay, Dan.
This is a plan that was sent to me by Mass DOT. This is a project that the state has been talking about at the TAC meetings for the last 2 years about the improvements and the steps they're taking to fix intersections. This is a project that the state has allocated about $2,100,000 to do. It is totally funds provided by the state. It's a state highway layout, so you understand. The first I saw of the actual plan was last week when they sent it to us. I immediately sent it to Bob and Sandy and John Ruffley so they could take a look at it, and members of the Traffic Commission so that they could look at it. Basically, they're proposing that they're going to put a circle at the intersection of South Street and Main Street. And then they'll also be doing some widening of the roads at Main Street and Housatonic to make the turn down Housatonic easier. As you can see from the project here, they've got pedestrian crosswalks in there. These are also going to be raised underneath. I'm sorry? The pedestrian crosswalks are going to be raised structures. So it'll be a little bumpy going over the top of them. But this is basically what they're planning to do. This is supposed to start, it is in the plannings for fiscal year 2021. The plan's been put forward and the money has been allocated for them to go forward. They are going to have a period of time that we can talk to them about it. They have not set up a date yet. As soon as John gets a hold of me, that's not John Ruffley, it's John from State Highway. I'll let people know, so the members of the select board, if they want to sit in on the meeting and talk, that they can do so. But this is what their plan is. It's pretty uniform. They're doing this across the state, many different areas. I was a little surprised when they had one for this intersection. But I wanted to let everybody know what it is and how it's going to go forward.
Okay, a quick question for you, Dan. How long do you think something like this would take to put in construction to finish?
They have it down for 1 year. from
Yeah.
start to finish.
Beautiful.
They did the one in Adams in less than a year.
Yeah.
Less than a year?
I
Less
saw
than a
one
year.
up, I saw one up in, on Route 20 heading into, towards Connecticut, that they literally did in about 3 months. That was at a four-way intersection. I don't know, I don't know, but they have it down for a year to allow for things. Land taking may be involved. I'm sure that they would contact the town about anything that has to be done with that. But this is what their plan is, and this is what our future will look like for that intersection.
All right, is there any other questions for Dan?
Yeah. Dan, I have one question, John Boyle. Like, is it possible to move the picture or get the picture of where Housatonic Street comes out? Yeah, that's it. Okay. A lot of these details are really small, and I even got my magnifying glass out and looked, but I couldn't locate where a traffic signal would be opposite Housatonic Street exiting onto Route 8, Route 9, or South Main Street, or whatever you want to call it. Now, there is a traffic signal across from the pedestrian walkway up the roadways, but it seems like there should be a traffic light or standard or whatever you want to call it directly across, because traffic coming from Housatonic Street is not going to make it out of there on their own.
Yeah, my understanding is that the allowing for the space that they're putting in with new sidewalks and everything with the plan is that the lights are going to be basically right where they are now, just moved back a little bit or moved to the side a little bit, but they're going to remain generally in the same areas.
So there will be, you expect there will be a traffic signal here to allow traffic to exit from Housatonic Street.
Yes. If you look on the plan, everyone's in a couple different places. They have a thing there where they say property mast arm.
Is that what that is?
That's what those are for.
Yeah, I can see that now, but I couldn't see it on my copy here.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Dan. That was my only concern.
Okay, anyone else?
Yeah, Dan, Mark Strout.
Good, Mark.
Thanks, Strout. Is there going to be a public comment period also? I understand you said that, we'll be able to meet with them and talk to them, but is there going to be a public meeting or a public comment set time also?
No.
I have not heard anything about that. But usually they do have one with it. It is something that we can request. But as of right now, I have not heard anything on it.
Dan, if I may say, as a member of the MPL, which works with the TAC, there is always several, at least a minimum of one comment period with a 30-day delay afterwards before it's finalized and the comments are registered and reflected on. So there definitely will be, and I will make an appointment when I'm down there at one of them MPO meetings that we get the date for the hearing on that that installation of the rotary.
Thank you, John.
When I'm done with this, my segments this evening, I'll contact John directly and ask him about that, and tell him that the town would like to see that we have one, to allow it, just to make sure that it's on their waiver up there.
Yeah, good idea.
All right, thank you.
One other question, Dan, is there gonna be some kind of alternate plan to get people in and out of town? Cause that's our main artery right there. I mean, I can see Gulf Road being heavily used and, off of South Street down that way, but just getting into town and getting out of town is gonna be a huge problem, I think.
I haven't seen anything for what their plan is for during construction. I do know other areas that they did. If they closed down one lane, they'd leave the other lane open so that they could do work. But this is something that we discussed about. Basically, if that intersection gets shut down, the town of Dalton gets shut down. There are alternate routes, places that we can go. There's off Main Street can be used, but that would be difficult for heavy truck traffic. But but there are other routes. Depending on when they start, Gulf Road may not be open. So that may not be an issue, but I'll follow up with them and make sure that we get a plan that I can present to the select board so that they're aware.
Okay, John. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, being an old crane hand yourself, what about the feasibility of reopening Pioneer Street?
You know what? You took the thought right out of my head. They were over there looking at that. There was a bunch of people over there looking at that about 2 weeks ago, so.
Yeah, it's just barricaded off. It would be easy, I think. I don't know if it would be suitable for truck traffic.
You can come right in off of Housatonic Street and then right down South Street.
Yep.
And all it is a matter of moving a little earth and whatnot. They're not using that for anything anyway, so.
Yeah. I mean, they would pay for that. That'd be part of the project, so it wouldn't be any cost to us.
We'll set up a toll booth and make some money.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, it's Joe. I don't have the history on this project, but the basic question I have, I think many residents will ask along the way is why? What is this solving?
Well, I truly don't understand why they chose this project. The intersections here have been on the agendas to be rebuilt for about 8-10 years. And then they were waiting until South Street was completed and Housatonic Street were completed, because those are both state projects. And they're going through the county. This is only one of 3 different projects that they're rebuilding intersections for in the county in the upcoming years. It's updating the roadway. They do the intersections, and then down the road they'll probably be doing the main highways also. So I have not got a direct answer as to why this plan at this.
Dan, if I may say, the reason for a traffic circle or roundabout is to facilitate and increase the speed of traffic flow. I mean, there's not major congestion at that intersection yet, but at times there are. And with this type of a setup, traffic doesn't stop. It just flows right through the intersection. And that's why they're doing it. They did it at Look Park in Northampton. They did it at a couple places in Northampton. As I said, they just did it up in Adams. And that's the reason. Increased traffic flow.
The intersection that they have, there are times during the day when you have traffic coming down Main Street that will be blocking the entire intersection from the Housatonic Street light to this intersection if there's a red light. And vehicles coming out of Housatonic Street cannot get out when you have that backed up like that. And it causes problems at the intersection of Housatonic and Main. But there are other issues that have come forward. As for the locations of where everything is, they're always trying to evolve. And I agree with John, what he said. That it is a plan that would speed up traffic going through this area, as long as people follow the rules.
Right. Yep.
That's helpful. Thank you, guys.
Yep. One eliminate, one of my favorite moves, although it's kind of sketchy, is coming down Main Street and taking a left onto Housatonic Street. Even though it's perfectly legal, it has a tendency to be dangerous and also has a tendency to block traffic.
Yeah, sure.
And we'll eliminate that. Now, to turn left onto Housatonic Street, you'd have to come down, go all the way around the circle, come back out the other side of the circle, and go down and take a right.
That's a good point. Yes,
Yeah.
that would solve that.
Yep. Yeah. I'm probably the only one that does that, but no.
I'll argue with too.
Yep.
They still have what appears to be a turning lane. I'd have to look at the project bigger. No, they are eliminating turning lane. What I'm the turning lane is an island.
Yep. Yep, no more turning lane.
So, Richard,
Yes, Richard.
I know I wasn't recognized, but I definitely agree that there should be a public comment period, because even as you guys are looking at it, there's questions and there's maybe some suggestions to help this. That's my comment. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll make sure we get a comment period. Okay, we'll publicize it. Well,
Yeah. And Mr. Chairman, if this is going to be done within the next year, I would like to make a motion that we have a formal communication plan for the public, including blowing up these plans and having them available for review at Town Hall and posting it on our town website with a one-pager, if you will, of the why this project is important to the town. Because if no one's watching our session here, they're not going to be informed timely of this change that the state is making within our community.
Yeah, we could do that, Joe, and also when they get ready to do this, maybe we can get a couple of them coming from the state to actually be part of the select board meeting and explain it to everybody that wants to listen.
Yeah, I'm suggesting, Bob, actually getting communication out now, since we talked about it tonight. And the reason is that as soon as we know it, our residents should be aware of it, because they certainly don't attend our meetings. I'm not sure what the stats are for Dalton Community TV, and I think this is an important topic that I don't want to be in a situation 8-9 months from now, whatever the case is, that this comes up.
Okay.
So that's a motion. So
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, motion's been made and second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, roll call vote. John?
Yes.
Joe?
yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Bob, yes. Okay, Joe, you want to spearhead that?
Yeah, I'll connect with Dan and help with that as well, and then certainly with Sandra for the website, and I'll do as much as I can here and help navigate that through. So for sure.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Dan? Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. I will copy you and the town manager on any emails I send out to the state and any responses I get.
Perfect. Thanks again, Dan. Appreciate all your help.
Thanks,
Thank
Dan.
you.
Okay. Okay, Sandy, you back to you, Sandy?
Yeah, is this town manager updates or what? The grant is,
Hang on, nope, we're going to do the update from the Board of Health for Halloween. It's, Jane, I see Jane there, is she on?
did we do the appointments yet?
No.
Yeah, Mr. Bishop, can we do the appointments now?
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that. Oh, I got caught up in traffic here. Yes, let's do the appointments first. I am sorry for everyone. Okay. Let's do, where are our appointments? Okay, permanent intermittent officer, reinstatement, part-time.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the ratification of the appointment of Lucas Perry as an reinstated as permanent intermittent officer as recommended by Sandra.
Second.
Okay, second, a motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
No, Mr. Bishop, I don't, just to say real quick, I'm familiar with Officer Perry. He's a good man. He'll be an asset to the town again, and I look forward to working with him.
Okay, great. Okay. Roll call vote. John?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Bob, yes. Thank you, Lucas. If you're out there listening, oh, he is there. Lucas, do you need to say anything or anything? Congratulations, first thing. You have to unmute himself, but. Okay. Next, we have the appointment of a Records Access Officer designee.
I don't have that one in front of me, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, Sandy just sent that out. I got it, and as soon as I can find it right here, I just printed it off. Okay, I'll read it. Okay. I hereby recommend for your ratification to designate Rebecca L. Whitaker of 51 Field Street Extension as Records Access Officer pursuant to General Law, Part 1, Title 5, or 10, Chapter 66, 6A. A Record Access Officer shall coordinate the municipality's response to requests for access to public records and shall facilitate the resolution of such requests by the timely and thorough production of public records. Attached to your information is a copy of the general law. thank you for your consideration of this appointment. So I will entertain a motion to accept Becky.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the recommendation of Becky Whitaker as our Records Access Officer.
Okay, is there
Second.
Okay. A motion's been made and seconded. Is there further discussion? I'd just like to say thank you, Becky, for stepping up and doing this. We really appreciate it. Okay, anyone else?
And I second that comment, Mr. Chairman. Becky, thank you so much for stepping up for this.
Okay. Roll call vote. John?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
And Bob, yes. Sandy, thank you for your work on this.
No problem. And I want to thank Becky as well. Thank you, Becky.
Okay, Becky, do you wish to say anything or anything? Nope. Okay. Okay, next we have Jane Smith on the Board of Health on Halloween. Hey, Jane, trick or treat.
Right, so there we go. So Halloween is fastly coming, and we have been waiting for the state to issue guidance on what Halloween should look like this year with COVID precautions. They way under-delivered what I think we were really hoping for, and so it is putting the onus on each town to really think about what Halloween will be like in their community. On the website for Halloween guides, it brings you actually to the CDC website, and which lists out some lower risk activities, moderate risk activities, and high risk activities. And the lower risk activities are things like going ahead and decorating a pumpkin, or having a scavenger hunt at your home. Moderate activities are things like having smaller group parties, with a limited amount of people. I'm sorry about that. And so, sorry,
We all have it. Don't worry.
So, but the most important part of that, excuse me for a second. I just delegated. All right. So the thing that I think everyone's kind of wondering about is, I need for you to get the phone, please. Really has to do with the higher risk activities. And so what I have done is reached out to Pittsfield, who we thought they were gonna make an agreement today, but they're actually going to talk about it tomorrow. But the high-risk activities that I think that there needs to be some consideration on are things like traditional trick-or-treating, where kids are going door to door, having the trunk or treat where the treats get handed out of the trunk of cars in parking lots. Attending a crowded costume party held indoors. Obviously, that's a very high-risk activity. Going to an indoor haunted house where people might be crowded together and screaming. Going on hay rides and tractor rides with people who are not in your household. And also people traveling into other communities for fall festivals. So those were what was listed as high-risk activities by the CDC, and confirmed by the state that that's kind of what they're considering the high-risk activities. Now, that being said, the CERA and John Kelly and the Council for Arts, are really looking at this issue to see if they can provide some sort of alternate, safer Halloween activity. So we'll be working with them to see if we can come up with something that meets the governor's outdoor gathering order and provides, a way for kids to get candy or interact but try to stay in that moderate risk activity. But what we need to decide as a town is, what is going to be the official stance of the town of Dalton as far as, are we going to allow door-to-door this year? knowing that that has been listed as a high-risk activity. You know, are we going to allow trunk or treat activities to happen either through the school or another organization, you know, if what, the way that they're conducting it is in that higher risk activity. So there's still a lot of questions. I know that there's going to be some discussion at tomorrow's phone call with the CCH. And we'll also be working with the city of Pittsfield, and hopefully we can align our goals and with really keeping safety in mind, but also keeping continuity throughout Central Berkshire, so that no individual town gets is standing out and ends up getting smashed by people from other communities coming into the community, which is a higher risk activity for Dalton. So that's all I have for you as far as an update. This will be on the Board of Health agenda. That's on Monday the 5th. And we'll be talking about it, and I would expect that some solid recommendations will come out of that meeting.
Okay, our next meeting is the 12th of October. That should be plenty of time to...
Mr. Chairman, it's a holiday.
Oh, geez. That's right.
So I would suggest that the board places faith in the chairman of the Board of Selectmen and allow you to make the appropriate decision with the information that's available at the time.
Okay. I have no problem doing that. We did it last year. So. I could reach out to Larry and get it in the paper. Larry's here. I see him there. Maybe he can get it in the paper for us as soon as we make a decision on it.
What's our say in the matter if it's a Board of Health issue?
Well, I
that
think
would have a role in deciding one way or another.
Well, we usually go with what the Board of Health recommends, Joe.
We're still the board that's vested with making a decision whether there's a trick or treat or not,
Right.
regardless of health issues. If the Board of Health should decide it's a health issue, certainly we would listen to it. But we still have to make a decision whether to allow trick or treat to be conducted on the 31st evening.
Just my opinion on this whole thing. I think there's a lot of things that are up in the air right now, and to try and make an informed decision, I think we should just hold off. My personal opinion is you know, we follow the state guidelines and we go from there. I don't think we need to interject too much on it, but I think we hold off and wait till we get more information.
Yeah, I do too. The CRA is going to come up with a plan, I think, and that'd be helpful to know what their plans are.
Yeah. Mark, the only reason I'm trying to give the chairman the authority to make the decision on our behalf is the next time we're scheduled for a meeting, it's a holiday, so there won't be a meeting.
Yeah,
so we have to call a special meeting for this.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, John.
So I think I have full faith in Bob to make the right decision.
I wouldn't want to make that decision.
I would suggest that we have it on the 31st and we have it based upon the Board of Health's decision on the 6th and get the communication out.
Huh?
That whatever the Board of Health decides, we have it on the event on the 31st, and whatever structure the Board of Health thinks for the community.
Joe, that's what I'm trying to say, but Bob still is the chairman of the select board, and we're still basically in charge of the town. So whatever decision was made will be taken into account the Board of Health's deliberations. But Bob make the decision and make the call and contact the press.
I second your motion, John.
Thank you.
Okay, okay. A motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion?
I just got one more thing to do. Say,
Okay,
I think we need to not push, obviously follow the guidelines, but really consider having this, and hopefully the Board of Health, you know, takes that into account, that this it's a hot topic out there, and I think people see people out there eating dinner out at places, sporting events, and out and about, and it is a hot topic. Trust me, I've gotten peppered with this over the last 2 weeks. So
I think we all have.
yeah, but that's all.
I think like the the idea that the CRA has is to have 6.5-foot tubes and decorate the tubes. So, you know, they really, I mean, what I talked to John Kelly about today, I mean, they're really trying to figure out if they can do something that fits into the guidance and using a registration system so that kids go through and there's never more than 50 people on site at any given time. So they're really trying to come up with something that's fun, and so I would expect that we're going to meet on Thursday virtually, so that's also prior to the Board of Health meeting, and so we'll have that to present to the Board of Health on the Monday meeting as well. So we can get quite a bit of clarification this week.
So is it safe to say then that door-to-door is probably not going to be the situation because the risk of people coming from other towns that may be shut down?
I think that door-to-door is a high-risk activity, and, you know, the hard part isn't in my mind, yeah, part of it is the door-to-door piece of it, but, you know, you get young kids together, they're so excited to see each other, you know, it's not just the interaction with, you know, the door and the children, it's also just kind of the uncontrolled environment of the evening, and it would be really difficult to contact trace after the fact. So it is listed as a high-risk activity, and, you know, I would anticipate one possible recommendation by the Board of Health would be to limit activities to low and moderate risk, which would exclude the door-to-door, but I can't speak on behalf of the Board of Health.
Okay, we'll get this figured out. Okay, anybody else before we vote? Okay, roll call vote. John?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Bob, yes. Okay, stay tuned, everyone. We'll get answers for you, but we want to be careful about this. My biggest concern about this whole thing is people are running around with masks on thinking they're protected, but it's really not the same thing as a regular face mask, so I don't know how they
And to that point, I think that when we do the public messaging, it's things like that people need to be wearing face masks, that Halloween masks do not count as face masks. People shouldn't have a face mask and then something over the top just because we want people to be able to breathe properly. So there's definitely going to be some messaging that's going to need to go out for that.
All right. Well, thank you, Jane, for all your work on this, and we'll wait for your update.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Okay, next, we have the police investigation costs. We had a couple updates from the last time. Sandy found some more stuff for us to include, and she also found some more, I really don't know how to explain it like Sandy did. Sandy, would you mind explaining what the costs were? There was no unbudgeted costs. They were all budgeted costs, I understand, correct?
Correct. So in June, the separation agreement was signed on June 18th. So that allowed us, so in May and June, the town is able to transfer unused budgets from one department to a next with the vote of the select board and a vote of the finance committee. So because that contract was signed in June, it potentially was a liability in FY20. So with a discussion with our auditors, he suggested, along with my suggestion, that we could go forth and use the budgets that were remaining to take care of that separation agreement, of which we did by using 3 different departments that had leftover budgets and placing them in a department called police separation agreement. And that that funding is carried forward into the new fiscal year to take care of what was paid out on the second week of July to the officer, so to the chief. So that's how we were able to that's how we were able to keep it without any additional funding. And we do that for all kinds of things between May and June of every year when we run short of budget, like legal bills or, we have vocational education department that has money left over, quite frankly, because we have to budget for it for the number of students that are estimated in the spring. And then some people don't go, so, that budget alone is, for one child, is $18,000, let's say. So if 2 don't go, you've got an up budget of $36,000. And for the other costs that are occurring right now in fiscal year 21, remember July 1st, there's a whole budget, a whole police department budget to take care of changes in salary, to take care of unbudgeted, unknown things that are occurring in FY21. And until the end of the year, most often you just use what's in the police department budget to take care of the police department costs. And you use the legal department budget to take care of the legal department costs. Doesn't mean that come May we run out of money in legal, or we have something called a reserve fund transfer that allows transfers with the finance committee approval to take care of those kinds of things. And we also, in May and June as well, every year, any budget that has leftover budget can be transferred into the budget that is suffering a deficit. So that's just how it works. So luckily for us, we've been able to take care of any other extraordinary costs within anyone's department by making those transfers.
Thank you for that explanation, Sandy. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Okay, Joe, do you want to run that PowerPoint?
Bob, can I have one question for Sandy?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Sandy, we transferred, and I voted for it, those 4 amounts or 3 amounts, totally, I think it was $153,000.
143.
143? Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
143,000. Does that mean there'll be $143,000 less in our free cash?
Potentially. I haven't gotten to the free cash part yet.
Yeah, but that's what happens, right?
Yeah, it could happen if other budgets.
There's $143,000 we won't have come budget time to offset the tax rate.
That could be potential, but my initial review of the leftover budgets and the more estimated receipt revenue that we got will take the place of that 143,000. I can't tell you for sure right now, so I hesitate to say that yes, that will be the case.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions, John?
Not right now.
Okay. Go ahead, Joe. Joe, you're on mute.
Yeah, thanks, Bob. You should be able to see my screen here in a minute. Can you see the screen?
Yep.
Okay. So this is just the updated version. Same thing we went through with the chairman's update last meeting, and just bringing it back for additional conversation, discussion today. And Sandy, thank you for that explanation. It was quite helpful.
You're welcome.
And with that, I updated the slides with those additional details that we discussed. Now to the overall cost, a couple of things we need to keep in mind as a town is that we're still in the middle of arbitration under the regarding the Marley situation too, so it continues to move forward. And so just additional, the other thing that that Sandra caught that I missed was that the February invoice from the legal and the hearing costs were actually under a different invoice. So it wasn't submitted, so that was added, and that's a 2516 cost you see in February. So that increased the cost by that amount to 31,000. And then overall, the police chief separation cost with the salary of 102, then the vacation and sick time salary and the vacation and sick time were accrued through the chief's 8 years and longer with the town of Dalton. And then we agreed in the separation to also include a $10,000 payment for health insurance, which brought the total cost up to that 141. So 141,393 for the separation. Then the interim chief for 55K, the total legal hearing and special hearing officer of 33,356, and then Dalton PD overtime of 5,425. Brings the total expense of 235, 175.61 to date. So again, Sandy, thank you for those updates, and everybody received the updated deck earlier this evening.
It's all right. Yeah, point it up.
Okay, any questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
if Joe's doing his presentation, I'd like to present a few figures to the board.
okay,
Okay. I have a document. Can I get a shared screen thing?
Participants. His name.
So I just click his name?
Remember, it was more. It was supposed to be you hover over his name and try to go down and back up to it.
All right, I've got it. Thank you.
Oh, perfect.
So I take a quick few minutes of your time. Joe, I want to commend you for your work in regarding summation of the cost attributed to the investigation of $235,175. But anybody who's a trained accountant knows that there's sometimes what they call hidden costs, incidental costs, indirect costs that apply to a certain financial activity. And I'd just like to share with you my opinion of what some of these costs may be. As you can see, hopefully you can see on your screens that Chief Coe's salary while he was suspended is $38,750. Marley's salary while he was suspended is $21,157. I certainly would attribute those costs to the investigation and ramifications of the investigation. Go down to Riello's salary. Joe mentioned is $55,000. What I have here is a salary for 6 months, and I only divided 16,000 because Mr. Riello was getting 16,000 more than Chief Coe, and that's 8,000. And there's a $5,000 bonus. That will be a cost in the next fiscal year. Now we go down to department overtime to replace Cole Marley. There was a lot of overtime used during the spring and early summer to replace Cole and Marley in the ranks of the police department. They were at a loss for manpower. Those costs were $15,129. Now this final line item, $10,000, is an estimate. And that's an estimate of the time people in town government had to work on the investigation. As Ken Waldo said to me twice, I'm spending 50% of my time on COVID-19 and the other 50% on the investigation. So that's just some indication the man hours he put into it. And others that had a major contribution in hours, the town clerk, the town accountant, the stenographer, of course, the administrative assistant to the select board, and the town manager. And I just took a ballpark figure of $10,000 estimate that that's what those costs were. I'm certain they're much more, but it's almost impossible to separate it out. Right? That totals $98,036. Added to Joe's $235,175, I contend that the actual costs, major costs in this investigatory costs are $333,211. And pretty much is what I estimated at the beginning. The cost for this whole thing would be between $300,000 and $350,000, and that's exactly what it is.
comments?
Yeah, I'm not going to debate the costs. I think John makes a couple of good points here as far as looking at the additional pieces of the puzzle. I think the overtime we're off there because we have a different overtime number. But anyways, we're not gonna. I don't think we should debate the numbers. But I agree, John, that you brought up some good points here. One thing that we all, as a select board, need to reflect on: the reason why we're here is because a senior officer did not respond to a well-being check. If that officer responded, we wouldn't be here today.
Yep.
We all went that front.
We wouldn't be here today either if the select board, and I voted for it, I confess, to bringing an outside investigator, which is almost the first thing he did was recommend the suspension of Chief Coe, which led to this whole mess.
I would warn my fellow select board members to be careful where you're treading regarding potential litigation.
Thanks, Mark.
I think we're best at leaving it where we left it.
I would agree with you, Mark.
But can we summarize for a second? There seems to be a discrepancy and disparity between the costs summarized by Mr. Deaver and myself. That's all. It's both our opinions.
No, yeah, I would defer that it's not an opinion, John, because from my side, because I actually used the invoices and had the numbers provided to me, so I'm not making any estimates. But to your point, John, I think your numbers and everything else, I think at the end of the day, we should rely on our town accountant to summarize what the overall cost is, because we still have ongoing costs with the arbitration and everything else. So both of our numbers are going to change at the end of the day. So,
and the costs aren't going to go down; it's going to continue to go up.
Yeah.
Joel, you made an excellent point before. I had a list here somewhere in this pile of crap on my desk about anticipated costs, and one of them being the potential incurred costs from the appeal of police officer Marley. That could be substantial. Certainly there will be legal costs. And there was a couple of, I can't, too many notes to myself. But the thing is far from over. I mean, this whole episode of the police department investigation is far from over. I mean, its ramifications.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you're referring there to, John.
Well,
but to my point, we probably don't want to get to that detail. The separation agreement is resolved. We have the Marley matter in front of us. We may have some other outcome of other legal issues.
Right.
But
Joe, I wish I could find it. God damn it.
But again,
so these are. Oh, here it is. Projected costs that we're going to face in the future as a result of the investigation and actions taken thereof. Projected costs for town manager's salary is certainly not going to be what Ken got. It's going to be substantially more. Police chief salary is certainly going to be much more than what we were paying Coe. Marley appeal, hey, could be a ton. And legal fees, probably a minimum of 15 to 20,000. So there's more costs in the future.
John, I disagree with a couple of your costs about the town manager's time and everything. He would got paid if he didn't do that or not.
Yeah, but he could have been doing a lot of things he wasn't able to do before he left, if he wasn't concentrating on the investigation.
In there, unfortunately.
You brought me a name, so I will.
No, it's not necessary. It's not.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry. Okay, is there any other comments before we move on? Okay.
I do think that, at the end of the day, it's a question that our residents are asked about the overall cost, but the majority of residents I'm talking to understand where we are and why we're here. And we need to reflect as a board why we're here.
Absolutely.
And so, but we'll get there when we get there. But all the decisions are made by this board. And I think as a board, we should stand by them because those votes were taken and we're moving forward. And as Sandy has clearly laid out for us where those costs were covered, and we'll see what the overall impact is at the end of the day. But I would like to understand, as we make these organizational changes within our police department as a result of where we are and where we've been, I would like to go back and look at what our turnover rate is and how our turnover rate may decrease over time and what that means for expenses moving forward as well.
Well, that's about a fine figure, Joe.
there's a long story to figure out along here, but at the end of the day, John, I think financially, I think we're all trying to figure out the right thing, but if we responded to this based upon financial risk alone, I think that would be a wrong decision for our town. We responded based upon the information in front of us and decisions that we made along the way, so I think we're moving forward with the announcements at the end of it.
I would like to see a breakout of what in the legal costs, because the investigator was paid not by the town, he was paid through the lawyer's fund, the compliment and page. I'd like to see a breakout in the legal bill for legal work and the investigator, if that's possible.
Yeah, I think if you take that graph, John, just see where it upticks in a couple of months and see what the average is for legal bill, you'll see the uptick, and I think that's the additional cost there for.
I didn't notice that, Joe. I will take a look.
Yep.
And you bring up a good point. Another cost that we're going to be facing down the road, although it's not going to be major, is 2 additional sergeants. Now, we paid for them for this fiscal year out of excess money in the department, I assume. Nobody ever told us how we're going to pay for it, except that would be $15 a day. And I, on faith, voted for that, and I'm certain it will be. But it's not going to be $15 a day next year when we start budgeting. So it's another unanticipated cost.
Okay, that's not about what this is about. Okay, we're talking about town costs to the police investigation.
Right, yeah, but we're having a good discussion about it.
Yeah, but this isn't part of this. This is not the agenda item we're talking about.
Okay.
And when next year budgeting season is when we'll talk about the sergeant's pay.
It's only a couple of months away.
Yep. Yes, Andy. Well, I just want to remind everybody one thing. We all voted for this. John, you even told me outside the town hall one day, state police stopped you. And you said, hey, you guys are doing the right thing by getting an outside investigation. And you were really happy. Yeah.
He did. And I voted for it.
Kind of like acting like you have nothing to do with this, and it's like you're kind of like sinning the rest of the Selectboard for this, when you were just as responsible for all these costs as everybody else was.
Yeah, but at least I recognize it. I admit, I plead guilty. It was the worst decision I ever made, voting for that investigator.
Well, we all did this decision. That was the decision. Okay, anything else on this?
Yeah, as a young select board member, being 1 year and the issues we've dealt with over here, I think it was the best decision we could have made in the town. But we disagree with that, John, and as we communicated, we don't see eye to eye on it, but I'm looking forward to working with you on a lot of different other issues, a lot of different other programs in the town. So, and agree. Hey, again, I agree with you on some of the cost things you're bringing up. I think it's a valid point, and we calculate as we continue to go forward and go back to our town accountant what the final impact is and publicly report that out. I think that's a good thing to do.
Yeah, and we need to move past this as long as we can keep kind of tracking the cost, because this is bogging Sandy down from doing a lot of things she needs to be doing. It's bogging a lot of our time down. Oh my God, it's just like crazy. We can't get anything done. And we got so much coming up, and we just need to move past it. We all need to realize Cole's not coming back. And that's the bottom line. And we all did this as a board, and we need to move on. We need to put it to rest, and we need to move it down. What is the cost for us? We'll figure that out. We'll present it to the town. We'll answer for the costs, and we have good reasons for that cost. Okay. Okay, town manager updates.
I don't think I have anything to update, but I would like to know for who William's iPad is for the record as an attendee at the Zoom meeting.
Ooh.
Somebody joined us.
William, can you identify yourself?
I don't see any mute button or anything like that, so.
I guess we have a mystery guest, I guess.
Well, you just put it in the minutes as attending William's iPad. That's all you can do.
That's all we can do.
Yeah, just for the record, Sandy, that happened before when Ken was with us, and I brought that up before, and he didn't have an issue, but I just kind of noted it.
He just wasn't allowed to speak, that's all.
Yeah, we are going through, with the police chief search, I've seen one candidate that kind of popped in and out of the meetings before and things of that nature, so maybe learn a little bit more about the town, I don't know, but if we just noted, but if William's iPad could speak up, that would be helpful.
Okay. Items for future agendas. So you all done, Sandy? I'm sorry.
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Okay.
And Bob, if I can take a minute, I think just, regarding Sandy, again, just a public thank you to Sandy for all the work that she's doing. It's a tremendous amount of work and effort, and we're all here as a board to support you on that, and as a town to support you and whatever you need to be successful in both of the hats that you're wearing. Happy to do so, but again, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, I honestly don't know how she's doing it, to be honest with you. It's crazy. So.
Thanks, Bob.
You're welcome. Okay, items for future agendas. Is there any updates?
Yeah,
How about if go ahead, Joe. How about if I do this? I put you and John on to continue to update the police costs. So you guys can work together on that?
yeah, I think that's fine. John?
Hey, I can do that.
All right.
I just, so you wouldn't be just seeing it on a TV screen for a few seconds. I plan to email this out to remaining members of the board for their deliberation. So,
Okay.
that's all we get together and do that sometime.
Get it ahead of time so we could have looked at it. Well,
Well,
Okay.
okay, anything else for future agendas?
Bob, I want to bring back, I don't see it on our list right here, but I wanted to bring back the, a policy that, I was supposed to coordinate with Mark, and Mark, apologies, I didn't close the loop with you on this, is just a social media policy for the town, and an idea there as far as how can we leverage social media platforms to improve communication with the town.
Okay.
Bob, this is Jane Smith. Do you mind if I suggest a future agenda item?
Sure.
So I've done quite a bit of work with solid waste, the contract with the recycling, and I'd like to give an update at the next meeting, please.
Okay. Least next meeting.
Another one, Bob, is just an update from the school committee. I can do as part of Seven Town or collaborate with one of the school committee members to bring that back to the group, especially as they reopen on October 5th and just how well that's going in a hybrid state. And also I know that the topic of the regional agreement has been on the school committee agenda a few times. I do know that a couple of the reps are stepping down for one reason or another. I know one gentleman is moving out of the district, and that will be an open seat for Dalton, and other updates that
Okay. You want that on the next agenda?
maybe two out. When's our next meeting? After October 12th? So
We should.
26th? 26th of October?
Yeah, or we could have it on Tuesday the 13th if we think we need one.
yeah, I think we can wait till the end of the month. We can have some updates and things of that nature then. So no rush.
Good, we might have some more of this stuff all figured out by then. Okay.
26th is a Monday, Bob. Yep.
Okay, 26. All righty. Let's see, I lost my agenda. Someplace. This is not good.
Well,
I got it. Okay. The select board chair updates. I'm very happy for the two people that stepped forward tonight, Lucas Perry and Becky Whitaker. That's huge, and once again, I really appreciate everything Sandy's doing for the town. Like I said, I don't know how she's doing it. So if we can put all this stuff behind us and help her move forward, I noticed there's like, I'm almost wanting to have a meeting with the department heads at the town hall to see what their questions are or how curious they are as how things are going or what we can do to help them out. I notice a lot of times I'm in there, people come in and I'm talking to the general public this time. If you could be a little more cordial to these people, that'd be greatly appreciated. I know you're frustrated. I know we all been cooped up, believe me. And it would be nice to treat our town employees with a little respect when you go in there. They're not responsible for the problems that are had. Come to see the select board, okay? I'm in the office usually from 9, I say 9 to 11, but I'm usually there 9 to noon. But I mean, this is what we're for. I have 2 appointments tomorrow to talk to individuals. So the only way we're gonna have a good understanding of what's going on in this town if people come in and talk. I mean, I have one other thing too. When I was talking to someone last week, they had the perception that Mark Strout voted not to put up Sergeant Strout and then voted for Chief Riello. Well, I went back and checked the minutes. Let me tell you, he didn't vote on either one. And that's the stuff that's got to stop getting out there. And this just keeps the stuff rolling. So please, come talk to us. We're there. Now, you don't have to talk to me. You can talk to other people. There's 5 of us on the board. So please, don't worry about that. Make appointments, talk to us, and we'll get you the answers, okay? Okay, anything else? Okay, this leads us to the announcements. Town Hall is now open during usual hours from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Wednesday, and 8 p.m. on Thursday. Masks are required. Social distances must be observed. Yes, okay, to 6 p.m. on Thursday. That should have been. It's not on there. Okay. Okay, now we have a significant drought still in effect. We need to minimize our overwater use, or overall water use. Limit outdoor watering to handheld hoses or watering cans to be used only after 5 p.m. or before 9 a.m. 1 day a week. We need to adopt and implement the state's non-essential outdoor water restrictions for drought. We need to limit or prohibit installation of new sod, seedling, or landscaping watering during within 48 hours after a measurable rainfall. Washing, operation of non-recirculation fountains, filling of swimming pools, hot tubs, and backyard informational rings. Let's see. Establish water use reduction targets for all water users. Identify top water users and conduct targeted outreach to help curb their use. Okay, the transfer station new FY21 prices. The first sticker vehicle is $115. The second vehicle is $40. Bag prices, 30-gallon bags are $4 a piece or a package of 10 for $40. A 15-gallon bag is small is $3.30 or a package of 10 is $33. For a complete price list, go to Dalton Mass Gov and click on the transfer station button. The new hours for compost and brush area, this is good with the leaves coming down, Tuesday and Wednesday from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Message from the Dalton Police Department. Due to COVID-19, the Dalton Police Department is closed to the public until further notice. The public still can come in and speak to an officer by using the call box dispatch, and we'll send an officer out to speak to you. The processing of firearm permits. Firearm permits are processed between the hours of 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. by appointment only due to COVID-19. Please call 413-684-0300 to schedule your appointment. No walk-ins are being accepted at this time. A check or money order for $100 made payable to the town of Dalton. Permits are taken between 4 and 6 months to process from start to finish. Please be advised, even though permits are processed during 10 a.m. and 3 p.m., there are circumstances that will prevent permit from being processed. We apologize for any inconvenience. The Dalton Library is now open 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. on Monday, Thursday, and Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Tuesday, and 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Wednesday. Anyone in a high-risk population may schedule time in the morning to come in by themselves with no questions asked. Lobby pickup continues for anyone would rather not enter the building. Call 684-6112 for more information. And with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Roll call vote. Mark?
Go Yankees, I mean, yes.
Joe? Joe?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Bob, yes. Good night, Dalton.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.